Yes, welcome one, welcome all to the Inner Sanctum on a Tuesday morning. We go just up the road to Punt Road to Tigerland and find out what's happening inside their sanctum with Shane Edwards, the champ, who joins us. Good morning, Titch.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Can I call you Titch?
Yeah, I'll let you call me Titch.
I'm going to call you Titch because I've always wanted to call you Titch. I'll always have. Great to have you with us. There's a bit happening in your world at the moment. It's not as smooth sailing as perhaps we would have thought for the Tigers at 6 rounds in. How are you feeling about the season so far?
Yeah, it could be better. That's for sure. And yeah, it was a tough game on the weekend. We've had a few tough ones now, and we've got a few more to come. So yeah, we're going to have to turn things around quickly.
Mentioned smooth sailing, but you guys have been here before, and we were talking on here yesterday. We're not falling for this trick, Richmond.
We're not falling for it.
You've been in this position before. Is there a level of comfort when you walk in the doors and go, no, we come out of these situations pretty well?
I suppose there is a level of comfort, but at the same time, you're like, it was really hard last time, to get back on the horse. And I think we put together about 10 in a row or 11 in a row or something to get back to third. So it's not a position you want to be in, but at the same time, we know we can get out of it. So I guess we're probably a bit more comfortable than probably what teams would be in this situation.
And get out of it you do. You seem to win the premiership every time you get in this situation, so it works well for you. But do you feel like at the moment, and we talk on here a bit, personnel versus system, do you feel like you're just missing some players that are affecting your system, or the system's just not quite clicking at the moment?
Well, I think it's probably the system's not quite clicking at the moment. We've got some really good players out, with Dion and Nick Floston and some of those guys who are, probably our best system players, but we have won before with really important guys out. So it's probably the system's not just clicking at the moment, but, that's something that can be fixed really quickly and, in the turn of a quarter, like the St Kilda game. It was just flowing. So we have done it this year. It's not like we haven't played good games. We have, so we've got the evidence, and it's just something we need to be more consistent with.
Are we finding a bit more about the depth of this Richmond list with the injuries that we're seeing at the moment? And not just injuries to sort of mid-range players. Some of your stars are. You mentioned Dion's out, now Dusty's out this week, of course. Floston's out. Lambert's out as well. I mean, it's a lot of key players to your team that are out, which we haven't really seen from Richmond the last 4 years.
Yeah, very true. We've got a lot of young guys who've found it pretty hard to get into the side. So yeah. It's kind of like... I suppose it's if there's ever a time to come in and be ready for a game, it's now, because there's a lot of spots open and some really crucial ones as well. It's those guys you just mentioned, they play really big parts in our system. So you can come in and really be in the thick of it.
We just spoke about injuries, and there's been a discussion point, of course, going back to the full length of games and the speed. Are you feeling the toll on your bodies any different, and it could be leading to injuries?
It could be. You get stuck on the oval for longer periods than what you used to. So I think the rotation, the interchange cap, I feel personally has been the hardest part. Probably not the length of the quarters, because you come off, you're able to get to the bench, but you're spending probably 7 or 8 minutes there rather than 3 minutes, and the recovery difference isn't much.
And when someone gets a bit of adrenaline and maybe a team's rolling, the opposition's rolling a bit, they start to feel good about themselves. What is the sentiment from you guys? How do you feel when someone's coming at you and trying to get in your face?
Yeah, well, as Jimmy would know, you know that it's a kind of a big game for some teams when they come up against us, and you prepare for it. You prepare for everyone's best, as you should. And I suppose when teams get ahead of you, or the game gets out of reach, there is a lot more passion out there on the field, and it's up to us to really control our emotions. I suppose we've been very lucky with winning, so when you are losing, it's not a feeling you have a lot. So the boys get pretty passionate out there, and you've got to control your emotions.
Do you have a list? Is there a list at Punt Road of blokes or teams that you're gonna get at some stage? In reminder of next time you play them, we're coming for you, mate. We're coming for you, blokes, because of the way you carried on last time. Is there a list or something?
Oh, you think about it for a while afterwards, but the season is too long and you play too many teams in between. You end up you end up getting, playing them again. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. They really had a go at us, but nah, not really. There's too much going on in between.
There's one player we had a joke about off air. I think every player, whoever comes in his direction, is on the list. Yeah, young Mansell.
Everyone's on the list.
Everyone's on the list. Yeah, you've got to get yourself off the list, this sort of thing. I love his aggression, and we were having a laugh. You've got to be a unique beast to enjoy playing on the last line of defence.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like a little Damien Hardwick back there. He's
He
crazy.
is, yes.
We were having a joke before that. He's been fined in 2 of his 3 games, so he's paid money to play so far.
He's got an IOU at the AFL.
Yeah, he does. So he's got to control it a bit for the
Paying
next
in
few
instalments.
games to pay his rent.
It reminds me of Dumb and Dumber, where he opens up the IOU. Oh, you might want to hold on to that one.
There's not too many players these days that are paying to play, but he's certainly in that vicinity at the moment.
Yeah. We do love his aggression though. He's going to be a really good young player for a long time.
Can I just take the conversation to a broader topic of expectation? Heard Brett Ratton say post game on Sunday night after the Saints got beaten by the Power that it just hasn't clicked, and they're struggling with pre-season expectation and hype around what they might be able to achieve after their finals win last year and real development under him at St Kilda. You guys you play with expectation every week, and you have done for 5 years because you've been the best in the business. What's the secret to playing with expectation? Because as we talked before, teams come for you, players come for you, the media come for you. They're waiting for you to fall, but you find a way to succeed you have in the last 5 years. What's the secret to playing with expectation?
Well, I suppose not really thinking about the outcome. It's just that's something that that you just won't be able to play at your best if you're worried about the scoreboard or worried about the win or worried about what they're doing or anything. It's more just about playing your role, and it sounds a bit boring, but just everyone playing their role for the quarter and sticking to the process. Because what happened on the weekend was once we fell behind, we went away from our process and went away from our system and tried to come back within a quarter instead of letting the whole half happen through our process getting us back into the game. And that's what's happened when we've lost games is, you try and make up for it, and everyone's trying to do something special to get us back into it when really you just need our system to, just eventually win the arm wrestle.
Just for that point, how does it get coached not only from the coaches but the leaders, the players like yourself? Because every football club and every sporting club says we want to be selfless. Like you walk into their hallway, it's probably one of the words you find on the wall. Everyone sticks them on the wall. You guys, as half saying, you do it, it just happens, it's consistent. But how do you as a leader get the next young player and the next rising star just to buy into it?
Well, I suppose it's not necessarily just one leader to one young guy saying it. It's almost like a given or like an expectation that all we need from you and all we actually want from you is your role. We don't actually want anything more, because that means you're doing more than your role, which is eating into someone else's role, and it gets a bit grey. So, throughout games when it's not going your way, it's just about reinforcing the messages that we've always said over pre-season and other games. So
It comes for you. You've got someone who's sitting top of the table at the moment, undefeated after 6 rounds. Got a few injuries coming into this game, admittedly, but are flying, low-level flying. Now that you've achieved all that you've achieved and you had to get yourself up every single week, is it nice to have a lure to try and chase in a game like this on Friday night?
Well, I suppose it's exciting. This is 2 weeks in a row we've come up against an undefeated team, so we had some good practice last week. And coming out knowing that you're going to be hunting them and the expectations are on them is something that gives the group a spark. And we had that a few weeks ago against Port Adelaide as well. Got to go over there, backs against the wall sort of stuff, and the group put in a really good performance. So I'm excited. We're going to have a few young guys. Both teams have a lot of injuries, so it's going to be a good game.
How's Dusty been this week? Concussed last week in the game against Melbourne, ruled out for this week. He's only missed 8 games, I think it was, in his 250 to the weekend. So this will be 9 in 250. Still 250, I suppose. Yeah. So how's he go when he's not playing, Dusty?
Yeah, he's still just like flat about the loss.
Oh, is he?
So normally us training and getting back to the next week moves him on. So he was still flat about us losing, and felt like he didn't help us and things like that. And we're like, mate, you've probably done enough for us. Don't worry.
Take a rest.
Yeah.
I reckon you might have had a few key moments in recent years.
Yeah, so we just put your feet up, make sure you're all right. Your head's the most important thing. So yeah, it's I suppose getting him to switch off now is important, and getting him back the next week's going to be welcome.
Actually, there was some conversation yesterday. He might be flying back to New Zealand to see his old man. Is that right?
Yeah, he could be. Yeah, I think that was an option, so that'd be good for him.
Right. When the other injuries you got at the moment, when will we see some of those players start to come back? Are you aware?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Dion. I think he re-injured his calf, so he'll be a while. Kane Lambert will be maybe a month.
Floston. I love watching him.
Yeah, Floston. I'm not too sure either. Maybe a month as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be good getting them back.
So it's going to be an interesting phase, isn't it? And we talked before about not having those players, and it's probably the first time in a long time that level, the calibre of player hasn't been there for a large chunk of the season. Who steps up in that regard? Who's driving the energy now and the standards now that those guys aren't there?
I suppose everyone just needs to lift 5% across the board to cover for those boys. But we've got a lot of young guys who could step in. Like Jack Ross has been our medical sub for 3 of the games, so he's well accustomed to.
He's probably hating life.
Yeah, he'll be dying for a full game. And we've got some really good young talent down there. Morris Rioli Jr. has been he's been flying at VFL, so he's one to look for. Riley Collier-Dawkins as well. Paddy Naish, we've got some guys who know their role and who can play, so they'll step up. They're ready.
Just on a lighter note, where's Camden McIntyre up with his trading? What did he start with again?
Oh, he did the whole paperclip thing, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he got Dusty's boots, which would have probably got him away.
Set the world alight.
Yeah.
He got a boat at one stage, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, where's he up to?
It's actually hard to know, but he sold an inner sanctum experience with Dimmer.
Did Dimmer know about this?
Yeah. So he sold the boat to Dimmer because he had a little boat, and for an inner sanctum experience with one of our sponsors, and they came through the change rooms and stuff, and in a few meetings the other day. So I think he's got some digital advertising now.
What's he get? Digital advertising.
Well, that's valuable. People will pay big dollars for that.
He's wrapped with it.
But who gets on and goes, I'm going to offer up digital advertising?
Yeah.
Well, if it's worth enough, you just take what you can get, Jim.
Yeah. So if anyone needs any digital advertising, get a hold of Camden McIntyre on Instagram.
I'd love him to use it to advertise what he needs. So a big picture,
that's
Punt Road of him just with a thumbs up or something.
He wants a Ferrari, so you just advertise a Ferrari.
He's still aiming for the Ferrari?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Got to aim high.
I don't reckon it's out of the realms. He's done a pretty good job.
So will he be content with the Ferrari, though? Won't he just move on again? And why stop there?
That's a good point. Was it things like that? I mean, this was in Hub Life last year where he started it. Was it things like that got you through Hub Life, and stupid stuff that you just did every day just to break the monotony of being stuck in the same place time and time again?
Well, I actually wasn't in the Hub at this point because I came up late.
You
did too.
And seeing through our group chat with all the players just what he's up to, and then talking to some guys on the phone, it was just it was all anyone could talk about at the time.
Yeah,
it was just Camden's doing this and this, and technically it's not even his paperclip because he stole it. He stole it off the hotel. So really, this is the hotel's. So Dusty's boots. That's cheating. You can't just steal Dusty's boots and sell them.
Dusty wanted the Rubik's Cube. That's Dusty's business. If he wants the Rubik's Cube to keep himself busy, that's his business.
Yeah, that's true.
When you did come up, you were part of probably the best training session we've ever seen with Junior and Roughhead, and
That's right, yeah.
I'm not going to include Andrew Mackey in that.
Don't do that.
Don't include that. He doesn't need to pump up, but that would have been an interesting experience.
Oh, I was so nervous before it. I'm training with Gary Ablett and Dan Hanbury and we had the little square patch of grass that we had. I didn't know what we were doing. I thought we were, you don't want to be in a phone booth with Gary Ablett training. He'd just shake you off. So, it was surreal, and it was awesome. It was really good preparation.
When you think about that, Jim, that's the most unusual thing we've probably ever seen. We've seen in footy in recent years. Now we had teams in hubs for 6 months, which is probably unusual too. But players from opposition teams having to train together in preparation to play and get into the hubs, we'll never see that again. Well, hopefully.
No, hopefully we don't. But it made the great photo, didn't it, at the end of it?
Because you did the whole team photo thing at the end, didn't you?
Yeah.
Have you got that photo anywhere at home? Was it on the sideboard somewhere when you walk in?
I got it on my phone, just ready to, I could blow it up and put it in a frame or something.
Give it to Camden. See what he can do with it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
I haven't offered that up.
Get him to sign it.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, well, we actually said to Cam, why don't you just have 2 paper clips? If you've come this far, why don't you just do it again?
Start again.
Yeah, what's stopping you from doing 2 of them?
What's stopping you doing it?
Shane? Well, I've actually thought about it. Like this, he's come pretty far, and he's made a lot of money because he's got digital advertising now.
Yeah.
So
Did he ever get the welder?
I don't think he went through.
It was one of the requests, wasn't it, to get up to the hub?
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I do now, that you mention it.
Some of the requests that he would have thrown up there, I don't even want to know.
Some unusual times last season, but 3-3 at the moment, and the Bulldogs on Friday night is what the Tigers face at the moment. It's going to be a fascinating encounter. No Dusty this week as well, so we'll see how it all unfolds. But Shane, great to have you in the studio, mate. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time as well. Good luck Friday.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Good on you. Shane Edwards, our man from the inner sanctum of the Tigers.